Hey gang, JC here, and this is the Daily Dose for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Great television archives, top of the page, our eye candy feature along the bottom, speaking sexually with Dr. Kathy Naughton all the way on the bottom, and of course our rock and roll poll question. This usually means that this is a bad piece of legislation. Now I'm hearing the ACLU might get involved in this too. New law that's going to kick in at the end of the month here in the state of Missouri that makes it illegal, against the law, for teachers and students to communicate online, Twitter, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. Now, there might have been a better way to do this and say we're establishing policy, but to actually make it a law where somebody can prosecute it and somebody could go to jail on this whole thing, I'm not really sure it's a good idea. Might not be enforceable, might be unconstitutional. Going to be all sorts of problems. And now the results of the rock and roll poll are even more indicative of the fact that it's a bad piece of legislation because you have a split. This is all over the place. We asked yesterday, what do you think of the new Missouri law prohibiting teachers and students from privately communicating on Facebook and through other methods? Great idea, 36% of you. Right behind it, 34% dumb idea. And right behind that, 30% sad but necessary. So if you add great idea and sad but necessary, that's 66%. That's a lot. But what do you do with a law that might not be enforceable? It's a mess, folks. It's a mess. Speaking of a mess, by the way, I'm wearing makeup today. And I will tell you maybe tomorrow. Probably not tomorrow. Probably Friday. I'll tell you why I'm wearing makeup today. We'll get to that a little bit later on. All right. So it was 40 years ago today that Paul McCartney said, yeah, the Beatles thing is over and I'm starting a new band called Wings. And a lot of people to this day find Wings really annoying. So we said, what are your feelings about the band Wings? A, bad idea, even worse music. B, some decent songs. Or C, absolutely terrific. Please answer. In the corner, we'll have the results for you tomorrow. This is one of those questions that's going to get a lot of responses. I can tell you that. No middle ground on this whole thing. Last night, we played baseball in Forest Park. And the game time temperature was 103 degrees. Now, I pitched a complete game last night in a 7-5 loss. We didn't play well. I didn't pitch well. You just get out there sometimes, you go, I don't know, I just don't have my good stuff. Finally, in the 6th inning, it all came together. By then, it was too late. We scored a couple of late inning runs, and we lost, but I can't win them all. Some people have off nights, and I had one last night. All right, Charlie Sheen's character will die on 2.5 Men. We reported that yesterday when the season premieres in the fall. I have this thought, though, that they might want to shoot 2 versions, and here's why. What's going to happen if between now and the time that this show airs in September, if the real Charlie Sheen dies? You can't run that show then? Well, maybe you can't. I don't know. Well, let me think about that. I'll get back to you on that. Katy Perry's album has set a record with 5 #1 singles. Somebody asked her about her key to success, and she said, I have no idea. Then she put on a tank top and did jumping jacks. Original portraits of Adolf Hitler's mom and dad will be auctioned off on September 1st, which explains why Jesse James and Mel Gibson were seen out buying frames. And Casey Anthony has been ordered to return to Florida to serve probation for check fraud. Man, a charge like that could ruin her reputation. All right. The incredible fainting Meatloaf has struck again. We did the story about him fainting during a concert in Pittsburgh the other night. Well, it just happened again. This time it was in New Jersey at the New Jersey Balloon Festival, where I'm sure Meatloaf was at least once or twice mistaken for one of the balloons. Maybe he should take some time off, or maybe this is going to be a permanent part of the act. I don't know. The man is like 63 years old. All current Saturday Night Live cast members are going to be returning for the upcoming 37th season, and that's great. This is a real good batch. The black kid, the skinny black kid, is going to be a big star. I think his name is Jay Pharoah. Watch this kid. He's got flashes of Eddie Murphy. He's got flashes of a lot of the really good, and you don't have to just restrict it to the black cast members either. This kid is, you can tell he's very young and he's sort of finding his way, but just loaded with talent. Watch this kid, Jay Pharoah. Alec Baldwin is going to host the season premiere. It'll be his 16th time hosting, and that is a record, more than anybody else. There's going to be a three-breasted woman in the Total Recall remake, starring Colin Farrell. There's going to be a lot of things that are different from the original version back in 1990 with Arnold. For starters, they don't even, they're not going to Mars in this one, which was a huge plot point in the original. This movie also has Kate Beckinsale, Jessica Biel, Bryan Cranston, and Ethan Hawke. All right, so The Bachelorette finale attracted 9.5 million viewers on Monday night. That's not horrible, but it's down almost 30%. And the show's lowest rated finale. Maybe the dew is off the lily. I don't know. Speaking of reality TV, let's talk about The Real World. A chick who used to be on The Real World who is on KFNS in the afternoons now. And The Village Voice, which is one of the sort of alternative papers in the New York City area, got their hands on the 30-page contract that MTV has people sign before appearing on The Real World. And basically, MTV wants to be able to do anything they want and be able to get away with it and not be responsible for anything. For example, here's a couple of the highlights. You may die, lose limbs, and suffer nervous breakdowns. You may undergo any medical procedures, and if you do, while involved in the show, they carry the risk of infection, disfigurement, and death. Your email may be monitored during production. You promise not to hide from MTV cameras in establishments where they can't film. You may be humiliated and explicitly portrayed in a false light. You grant the producer blanket rights to your life story. The producer can do pretty much anything they want with your life story, including to misrepresent it. You authorize the producer to have total access to your school records, government forms, and your credit history. Producers are under no obligation to conduct background checks on your fellow cast members. If you contract AIDS or other sexually transmitted diseases while filming, MTV is not responsible. Interacting with other cast members carries the risk of non-consensual physical contact, and you should should you contract AIDS during such an interaction, MTV is not responsible. So come on, everybody, sign up. They could conceivably put you somewhere with a rapist. According to a new survey, there's been a huge jump in the number of men over 55 getting cosmetic surgery. And 2/3 of these men have something in common. They are getting it on with a woman at least 10 years younger. The most common plastic surgeries for men over 55, getting the bags removed from under their eyes, facelifts, and moob removals. And we know those are man boobs. National parks can kill you. A woman fell to her death hiking in Yosemite in the rain on Sunday, making her the 14th person to die there this year. That's a new record. The previous record for an entire year was 7 people back in 2007. I remember when I went to the Grand Canyon, they have a sign there that says most people die because they get too close to the edge. And I stood there for a minute and thought to myself, what do you mean most people? Well, okay, how do the other ones die? And I just started backing up from the edge of the rim at that point. All right, it was on this date in 1971, as we said, that Paul McCartney announced the formation of his new supergroup, Wings. It's our rock and roll poll question today. It was on this date in 1974 that Jeff Skunk Baxter quit Steely Dan and joined the Doobie Brothers. I asked him in an interview, why is your name Jeff Skunk Baxter? And all he said was youthful indiscretions. You can make of that what you will. Anyhow, that guy these days is working as a defense consultant who specializes in missile defense. A guy who was in Steely Dan and the Doobie Brothers is now working for the United States government as a specialization guy for missile defense. You never know by looking at somebody. We have Phil Leckrone on the show all the time from down at Stuckmeyer's. He's a farmer in bib overalls. Looks like Ebb from Green Acres. When he's not doing that, he is working for Boeing, working on software for the cockpits of the F-15. You can never tell by just looking at somebody. All right, celebrating a birthday today is Tony Bennett. He is 85 years old today. You may remember him hitting it out of the park with a stirring version of America the Beautiful at Jon Stewart's big rally on the Mall in Washington, D.C. a while back. He is 85 today, and 20 years ago, in 1991 at the Grammys in New York, I hung out with Tony Bennett. We got a great picture of me and Tony right there on your eye candy feature today. And of course, Trish Gazelle and I are on the Big 550 KTRS every weekday from noon until 3. We hope you get a chance to check that out. All right, what do you think of Wings? Bad idea, worse music, some decent songs, or terrific? Please answer our rock and roll poll question right there in the corner. I'll tell you why I'm wearing makeup Friday here on the Daily Dose. How's that? All right, that's it for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2011. I'm going to go take some Advil now. A combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.